So, my name is Judy Kaiser. I am a board member of Jam and All Interfaith, and it is my deep pleasure to welcome all of you, all of the 65 participants that I see on Zoom, to this evening, which is the first of our winter online interfaith roundtables, the winter series, Choosing Peace in the Midst of Chaos. For the first time, JAM is actually partnering to produce a roundtable with another organization. We are absolutely thrilled to partner with the Abrahamic Reunion, an international organization and team of spiritual peacemakers who for several decades has been dedicated to uplifting human consciousness and building peace in the Holy Land. And I would like to introduce Reverend Todd Humphrey. And those of you who still have gallery view, he'll wave. He's our Zoom host for the evening, as he has been for many of our roundtables, and he's just such a wonderful partner in these online roundtables. Thank you. Nice to see you again.
You too.
And Reverend Todd will pop in and out to give us instructions at various times. And if you have questions, you can also put a question in a chat to him. And he knows a lot, so he'll be very helpful. Jam and All Interfaith was founded shortly after 9/11 as an interfaith path to connect people through conversation and education to create peace, harmony, and understanding. We have held conferences, town hall meetings, picnics, potluck dinners, interfaith Thanksgiving services, and always with a focus on dialogue. In all our events, we create a safe space in which to be brave, to discuss ideas and share questions. We believe that curiosity is a doorway into relationship. And in a few minutes, Reverend Todd will be sharing the principles that Jam and All Interfaith lives by in our dialogues to make sure that the space is safe and people can be brave. As I said, tonight's session is the first in our winter series, Choosing Peace in the Midst of Chaos. There's the slide about principles for interfaith discussion. And there are many, because we know that dialogue can feel dangerous. And so we want to make sure that people are sure that they are welcome in the spaces that we create. And we can bring our whole selves into those spaces. So just take a look, read through at your leisure, and know that you are safe with us, and we are safe with you. So I want to set the context briefly for this winter series of roundtables. The eternal, ongoing struggle to live together in peace is hard work. It can be so discouraging when one becomes fully aware of the many forms conflict, division, and violence take in our world. Added to that ongoing backdrop, the turbulent events of this past fall, added to the ongoing humanitarian crises around the world, make it even more important to make space for the possibility of peace, to be a voice for peace. Jam and All Interfaith is such a voice. The Abrahamic Reunion is also such a voice. And tonight we have a guest speaker from the Abrahamic Reunion who will introduce the topic for the evening, speak his truth. Later we will break out into small Zoom rooms, small groups, for 30 minutes of discussion in those small groups. And then we will come back together. Representatives of those small groups will report back very briefly to the larger group. And then our speaker will close with his own impressions of what we bring back from the small groups into the large group, and then he'll close with a prayer. And now it is my pleasure and honor and delight to introduce our speaker, Sheikh Ghassan Manasra. Sheikh Ghassan Manasra is the International Director of the Abrahamic Reunion. He has a Bachelor's of Arts in Islamic and Middle Eastern Studies from Hebrew University in Jerusalem and advanced certifications in working with conflict. He is also well educated as a Sufi scholar and leader. For almost 40 years, he has worked in interfaith peacemaking around the world, continuing the legacy of his father, who was also a scholar and Sufi sheikh. Sheikh Ghassan works both with individuals and at the highest group levels, is an expert in Islamic history and current issues, and has received numerous awards for his peacemaking. Now I invite my friend Sheikh Manasra to unmute and share with us how and why he chooses peace, what that looks like in his life, what are his greatest challenges, and how he balances conflicting priorities, and what sustains him in that choice. Please welcome Sheikh Ghassan Manasra.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Judy. It's my pleasure to be with you all in Jamandol in alliance with Abrahamic Reunion. We are so proud, all of us. We are so proud, all of us, to be together and to work together, to feel one another. And as I say, to smell one another, because we see all of you as roses, and we need to spread the fragrance of everything within us, inner side, outside. It's great, really, to look at the faces of all of these people, and it's, remind you who you are. He's giving you the answer, who I am. And when you need to know yourself, and this is the meaning of why you choose to be a peacemaker, why you came to this path, how did you, melt within this great ocean of connection. First of all, I would like to say, maybe the path found me before that I'll search about the path. I was born in this family, Manasra family, and I found myself part of all of these waves of love, of connection, of hard time, peacetime, and so on. All of us try to find the first step to get to the main road. It's very important for all of us, because we used to walk in the side roads most of our time, but sometimes you need to get to the main road. And the most important thing is, don't say, this is my direction. The main thing is to say, I'm walking on the main road. I'm driving, I'm flying, I'm swimming, sailing. The most important thing is to sail, because during this movement, this deed, you'll find lots of people all around you to share with them yourself, and they will share themselves with you. Then you can create a very big ball of connection, understanding, knowing. Many people try to say we are peacemakers. I say, I'm so happy to meet you, but I hope to be peacemaker. I hope this is one of my goals, to be a real peacemaker, not to jump to the wave and I'm peacemaker. Peacemaking needs a very, very, very long steps and lots of signs in our ways until we will arrive to the title peacemaker. It's not easy to be a peacemaker, because to be peacemaker, it's kind of like a firefighters. You need to fight first of all your evil inclination, yourself, because you need every day to clean yourself. and to try to make jihad. You know what is the meaning of jihad? The meaning of jihad, it's not to take the external sword and to go to fight. It's to take the inner sword and to win your inner enemy, your prejudice, your ego, your evil inclination, all of these values, the dark within you. After that, you will get out to fight. Why I say that? Because in these days, you need to be, all of us, we need to be peacemakers. Not during that very wide time. In the time of conflict, the time of war, the people need to see you a peacemaker. It's not easy for all of us or part of us, but it's very important to all of us to be peacemaker and to understand. I try to find many of my colleagues and so on. I think they are resting. They are great people. No, they are great people. Don't think. But they are resting. They will come back. They will come back. I think we need to do this period or this part of the way. After everything will be clear, they will jump again, and we all welcome them because we love them and they are part of our lives and part of our way. I raised up in this family. This family, it's belonged to peacemakers. My sixth grandfather, he was the Sultan of Palestine at that time, today Israel and Palestine. And he was the Sultan there, the king there. And he created the first peacemakers, as a peacemaker, peacemaking in the Holy Land with the Jewish, with the Christians, with the Muslims, and with the Druze at that time. And then we continue to work in this thing. I found my father with many peacemakers. I think hundreds of years we are in this path. But in my path, I think I was young when I saw my father shaking hands with the Rabbi Fruman, with other rabbis, with other priests, as a sheikh and as scholar. And then I put my hand there. And when you are a very young person, you then think about your children, your wife, your house, attacks or something. You will think that I'm peacemaker. I found the path, and it was very tasty path. It's sometimes hard path, but it's a very tasty path. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing where you came from and where this impulse came from in you.
Thank you.
Because Jaminal Interfaith is all about conversation. We're going to get to have some conversations in our small groups.
Yeah.
So we will be breaking into small groups that Todd will put us in.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
there will be a facilitator, and take it away, Todd.
Yes, give me 1 second here. I am moving some people around so that we have a better distribution.
While you're doing your magic, I will explain that each group will have a facilitator who will sort of guide the discussion in keeping with our JAM principles. And one of the first things that each group will do through the facilitator is to choose a reporter who will report back to the group after the half hour or so of small group conversation.
And we want to remind everyone that as you take notes, that when you come back and share, we ask that you limit your remarks to, one key takeaway from your discussion.
So again, while you're doing your magic, the two questions that we usually have the facilitators pose to their groups are, so you can have this in mind, what impacted you the most from what Sheikh Mansara has shared? And how are you personally changed? Or how can you personally change as a result of this experience? Because it's like when someone enters a group, the group changes. And so when these small groups meet in the breakout rooms, the groups will become unique because of the people who are in them. And people will change, they'll change each other, they'll be changed. So there's an alchemy that happens. And so we ask people to dwell on that a little bit. So what's the alchemy that happens because of this experience? And I'm sorry, I said your name wrong. Manasra.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Welcome back, friends. We're delighted that you are with us tonight for this incredible event. I'm trusting that everyone had incredible conversations. Those were divinely ordained groups, and I'm so delighted to have you back in our main group now. We're going to invite everyone that was in a group to the reporter that you designated in your group. I'll be calling on different group numbers or the name of the facilitator. And at that time, I'll invite you to that person to unmute and share. We're going to ask that everyone else stay muted until we call your group. That way, we won't have any background noise. But for our first group, which was Standalin's group, I think, Sophia, you were going to report for us. So if you would share.
Certainly. Am I unmuted?
Yeah, you're unmuted.
Okay, so for the first question, what was the impact? We found love and forgiveness as the most important. For that question, what impacted us? We had a lot of different items that was shared, but that was one of the nuggets for that particular question. Love and forgiveness, we need a lot more of it. And then on the second question, personal change, well, there was a lot of things there with personal change, but giving back to humanity, I feel we all feel together was something that we all need to do on a daily basis, and we need a lot more of it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. And so for our next group, if you were reporting for Reverend Vernell's group, group 2, if you could unmute.
Hi, it's Lori Horvitz. One overall takeaway was we can all be peacemakers if we choose to do so.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. And Anne, I believe you were going to report for your group.
Yeah, we sort of came away with the idea that we all have to remember that you don't make peace with your friends, you make peace with the people you need to talk with. But the way that you do it is through an authentic acknowledgement, connection, a smile, to really make that first person feel seen and heard.
What a wonderful reminder. Thank you so much, Anne. Our next group is Cam Ruse's group. And if you're going to report for Cam Ruse's group, if you could unmute for me.
Yes, that's Bin Suleiman. How are
Thank
you?
Ben. Wonderful. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Yes, yes. So, um, we had a wonderful group, as they always are. They're so heartwarming. Mr. Ram talked about how he was impressed with the explanation of jihad and learning that it was an internal struggle, and he appreciated that. And Camrose also talked about a few different things and explained what a Sufi is to one of our members, and also stated the Sheikh's ancestors, how they were important leadership figures in Palestine, going all the way back to his great-great-grandfather. And let's see here. And then there was Karen. Karen, she enjoyed this session, but she did want to hear more details about the Sheikh's background, and also more details about the Abrahamic organization. And then let's see here. Yeah. And then Regine or Racine, she was asking about the Sufi. I was very interested in getting more information about the Sufi um, um, character and characteristics, etc. And lastly, let's see here. Oh, I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about the virtual meetings. Oh yes, the leader of our group talked about the virtual meetings that the youth were having in the Holy Land among all the different faiths, and there were youths that had what do they call it? The meta technology that they were using, and how that was an extreme benefit to the youngsters there. So that's about it, I think.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ben. We are hoping that we're going to get to hear a little bit more from Sikh Manasra. So I want to invite whoever is going to report from Opal's group to unmute now. Who's that going to be?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Opal's group? Who's going to?
Anna. Yeah, sorry, I was trying to figure out where my mute button disappeared. We had a few common themes. Most of us talked about how we felt that in the wake of these past few months' events, we've lost connection with people who were dear to us before. Conversations have stopped, and this need for keeping that line of communication open. We concluded that the most important thing is to try to remember to keep our hearts soft, to not construct these walls as we try to deal with trauma. It's still important to remember to stay open and vulnerable, so we can have those meaningful conversations that help us heal. And also, a side note in terms of having those direct person-to-person conversations are very important too, because a lot of that nuance is lost over text, where you can't really understand people's tone and what their meaning is, and then we project a lot of our own emotions, which can be really problematic as well.
Wonderful observations. Thank you so much. Ted, I think you're going to share for your group, and so if you would unmute for me.
Yeah, thank you. We had a really nice ranging discussion. But just to share two nuggets. One, we focused on things that we can do, small things that we can do to be peacemakers. And one was to build relationships with the other, primarily through curiosity as a doorway into relationships. So being in a mode of listening and learning. And the second thing is that one of our members has these buttons, love your neighbor, translated into English, Arabic, and Hebrew. And she's very helpful in distributing those, Carol Wallman. And many people are wearing them or giving them to friends as a way of engaging in peacemaking activity.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And now I would ask that the person who's going to report for Yona's group to unmute so I can spotlight you.
Hi, Todd, that would be me, Masuda Farouk.
Hi, Masuda.
Thank you for the opportunity. And we had a great group of participants. One was Jew named Richard Hidayat. From the Sufi order, me, myself as a Muslim, and Yona as a facilitator. And I think that's it. And basically the nugget that we found were basically two instead of one. Peacemaker in the time of extreme conflict. Usually you do have peacemakers in time of peace, it's easy, but usually to get a peacemaker and be a peacemaker in time of extreme conflict is very difficult. It might be easy to say, but it's very difficult to take and handle in those situations. And the other concept that really resonated with the whole group was jihad, which is a conflict within oneself that you have to deal, and it's difficult because we are emotional beings. And Mr. Hidayat said it very well from the group. Inner peace is where we work and is often surprised when it lies within us, like the ego that we have, and we're not able to engage in it until we really handle it head on, kind of thing. And what we took it as a group from the whole thing, as the second part of the group question was, okay, how do you think you can personally change from it? Two things. Love and understanding, the warmth that Mr. Manasra conveyed was very well accepted by the whole group. I think the way he spoke, the way he portrayed himself was very well resonated, and the warmth and love was really well perceived. And the other part that we all discussed about is simple interaction is very powerful and essential, because without those interactions, you cannot start healing. And those interactions do have to take place in order to be able to put that, whatever it is, on the table, conflict or not conflict. And once you start the dialogue, then you start healing. So that is what we took away from as a group. And thank you for the opportunity to do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Masuda. Hi, you were going to report for Kathy's group?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with a personal quote, and I'm sure that Mr. Manasra will understand, and maybe the rest of you will also, and then I'll do a quick extra comment here. So, when you know and understand yourself, the world will know and understand you too. Be willing to look inside yourself first, and then you can become a peacemaker. So I'm sure that that can resonate with everyone and our takeaway from what he had said. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Now I want to invite Joe to turn on the camera and unmute. Joe, are you available? Let's skip to Rob for now. Rob, can you unmute and share for your group? Well, I don't see Rob. Who is sharing for Linda's group? Number 9.
Yeah. No, it's us.
Oh, okay.
Hold
on.
I just didn't see your name on there. There we go. But you do need to unmute.
Okay, go on. Okay, so first thing I noticed was as in Mr. Ben Solomon's group, we have Sufis here, and I'm just wondering personally about the connection with Sufism and the peace movement, and that's opened up an interesting question for me. And then, like Mr. Ben Solomon and Ms. Ruth, what struck was the notion of jihad and how it's been shanghaied and how it's been just taken over by extremists and apparently means to us the exact opposite of what it means to a Muslim that really reads and loves the Quran. And so my wish is that more moderate Muslims would be vocal, stand up and talk about how their religion is not what's being proposed by these extremists. It's not one of vengeance and blood and destruction, but one of love, because we're under a terrible misconception in this country. And it would be wonderful if that was corrected.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your sharing tonight. Chris, can I get you to unmute and share from your group for me?
Sure. Yeah, here I am.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had a beautiful discussion with our group, especially about our own religious backgrounds and spiritual journeys through variously Judaism, Christianity, Sufism, and so we talked about our backgrounds for quite a while, and one of the nuggets was the unity of religious ideals, and how we were all on pathways seeing that the highest ideals of all the different religions and spiritual pathways had these beautiful harmonies and similarities that were so important to recognize and to talk about, and to see those commonalities as truly a great strength of humanity and humanity's traditions, and gateway to our future, we hope. So
Wonderful. Thank you. We indeed are far more alike than we are different. So Alan, I'm not sure who's reporting for your group. If you're reporting for Alan's group.
I am Alan, and I'm reporting for my group due to popular demand. Sorry, wasn't able to get one of our other folks to take this on. I think they were actually more eloquent about this than I was. But a couple of things, we talked about the inner work, but also I think people were impressed by just the concept of doing the work on the main road. And we talked about what people have done or could do. And one of the things that I'm going to share in the chat box is just, some information. A couple of people in our group were acting as volunteer teachers to help students and children to be leaders in relation to peace, respect, and understanding. And so here's a couple of university-based organizations that help with this. And I think that as we're doing that inner work, just the importance of communicating it with others and living that to be true to that in times when it's challenging now, and in times when you've got a group that may be more amenable to hearing some of our messages. So thanks to our wonderful group and to our wonderful speakers tonight.
Thank you very much, Alan. So now, Chris, who is going to report from your group? Can that person unmute?
Yeah, hi, it's Audrey Gregg who's reporting. Our group, I know, Todd, what you say about groups being together like a magical sort of thing, but we were very fortunate to have Judaism, Christianity, agnosticism represented. And one of the people in our group is living in California, but she had lived in Jerusalem for 9 years and was very active teaching Palestinian children. Another person stayed up late from the UK and was talking about the reporting that she sees in the media in England. So much of our discussion was surrounding the very beautiful words that Ghassem had used in terms of finding people to be roses. That was really attitude changing, and melting in the great ocean of connection, which was what we felt was going on with us. But the other part of it was to check your prejudices. Self-growth is an ongoing principle, and one has to constantly take a look at themselves and see where their prejudices are and what they can do, loving your neighbor and all. And Chris, our leader, mentioned the Dalai Lama words that be louder in love than others are in hate, or some words to that effect. It was a wonderful time together. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Audrey. Joe, I see you're available now. Did you want to add anything in from your group?
I just wanted to add a little saying from a Rumi poem,
Okay.
which was, "There's 1,000 ways to kneel and kiss the ground," which I thought was beautiful. It kind of took in a lot of what we were saying. Our group was also very impressed with the long history of Gassan's family, whatever, 6-7 generations of peacemaking. How beautiful and how wonderful. And I mean, this is a personal, I would hope that we can get back to that one day soon.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Joe. And so, Laura Sue, can I ask you to unmute?
Yep, you can. Thanks so much. Thanks to everybody for being here. This is wonderful. We had a really cool group because the people in our group were like in Vermont, Seattle, Florida. We just had the whole country covered. We could have easily, I'm sure, talked for hours. We touched on so many things. We did distill it down to this. That was inspired by the presentation, the importance of knowing ourselves and being a voice for peace. And it really seemed that everyone in our group had experienced personal transformations, important ones through family and spiritual life, that had brought us to be peacemakers. And that in being peacemakers, we're not expressing an opinion, but we're expressing the truth of ourselves. That was the essence of being a peacemaker for us. Thanks.
Thank you, Laura Sue. And I am looking for one last report. This is going to come from the group that Judy moderated. So if you are going to share from Judy's group, could you unmute for me?
That would be Noor.
Noor?
There we go. Our group had people coming and going. So I think about 6 people participated, but 3 were there for the most part. One woman didn't hear Gassan's talk, so that was difficult. The essence of what we talked about was Gassan's message that aspiring to be a peacemaker requires a self-assessment and forming, fighting the inner jihad, the shadows in ourselves. And that was very powerful for many of us. Another person who was in the group at the end was a scientist who is believing that fact is the way to go with doing some of the things we were trying to talk about. So thank you. Thank you, Gassan.
Thank you for sharing, Noor. So I am going to invite Judy to unmute.
Well, as usual, I wish I could have been in every single breakout room. It is just extraordinary to hear. I think I used the word alchemy before. Uh, it's extraordinary to hear the alchemy of what happens when the right people are in the room. And this was truly beautiful to hear what you came back to the group with. And as Reverend Todd said, we have a little time and we didn't get enough from Hassan. And so if he's able to give us a little more detail, a little bit more of himself and his journey, and then wrap up with your impressions of what came back from the group, I think we would all be even more privileged to hear more from you.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you all. Thank you, Reverend Todd. Really, it's a great to discuss, to be together. And I say, you know, the Sufis say there's three stages, three steps of the knowledge: rational, feeling, and taste. And I think we are tasting the situation, tasting the knowledge, tasting everything between all of us, especially when we are coming as a one heart. I feel that. I feel myself bombing in all of you, you know, and also learning and studying. I want to say sometimes you will come to some yard and you'll feel the answers without questions. And sometimes you'll find the questions, but you need to search the answers. Sometimes there is questions and answers. Sometimes no questions and no answers. Don't afraid from this time, because you are beyond everything. When you'll not find any question, any answer, because you are there beyond. You are everything. And there is a philosophy with the Sufis, especially it's raised in the 13th century. You are the perfect person. The perfect person, the meaning is you are include all of these humanity within you. And Ibn Arabi, one of the greatest Sufis, 13th century, 1238, he passed away. He said, if you need to be straight, you need to clean this house, the heart, you need to clean it, because the creature will be here. You know, the oral tradition, when God say, nothing can include me, no earth, nor heaven. One thing can include me, the heart of my believer. He didn't say the heart of the Muslim, Christian, Jews, Buddhist, Sikh. He said, my believer. Then he say, you are the house of God. You are the robe of God. And he say, very important thing, if you will include the creator, you must include all of his creation with him. The meaning, every one of you. And my sheikh told me once, and this is answer to all of the people: forgiveness, love, peace, do the things, not only talk about that, and so on. He'd say to me, Rassan, don't be mad from anyone in this world, because this person you'll be mad from here, from him. They are you. In a different color, count, different color, different language, different nationality, different. But if we will take this mask, all of us, we are the same. Right? We have the same blood, we have the same heart, we have the same lungs, we have the same within us. You are all of these people. Include all of these people too within you. I want to say, our problem in this world, it's not the phenomena, or it's not the things that we are doing, because you think that there's a contradictory connection between all of these things. Like the second question, you know, how you can balance between all of these things. These things, they are balanced. You need to balance yourself, how to pass between everything to be equal. The most important thing to succeed in your life, to be equal. Rabbi Barry, how are you? We had a very deep the discussion before, but no one convinced the other. Who came before, the egg or the chicken? Until today, we will not discuss this again. But I want to say, listen, during this time, I'm not right or left. I mean, I need to be balanced. You know why? Because if I'll be in the middle, I can catch both sides to be together all the time. And I want to tell you something. I'm working day by day, hour by hour. I will finish now. I'll catch this to talk to the families from both sides to make them quiet, calm down. I will not support the crazy people killing the people from both sides. I will support these people living and like to live and love one another. This is my family. I don't belong to Manasra family only 100 years ago from making the work. All of you are my family. And I want to say, if you want to balance the things within you, you need to be clear and clean. And you need to polish the mirror of the heart. If you'll polish the mirror of the heart, the inner eyes can see clearly and clean, and you can check your essence through the essences of the other. You know, remember that, to polish the mirror of the heart, it's very important to come to be human. You belong to everyone. I love you, Rabbi Barry. I love Rabbi Mark. He's my, like you, as you, and Imam Zahir. All of these people, they try to plant the seeds of the humanity for the future. And I want to say that Noor, she say, come, and thank you, all of you. But Noor saying that we need not only to talk about the things, we need to do it. I agree. We need to do. We need to practice that. We practice that. And Rabbi Barry and all of you, we paid a very heavy price because we choose to be, what it's cost us, we choose to be a peacemakers. I almost paid the life of my eldest son, you know that. And you know him, you met him. We ate breakfast together and we met together. Rabbi Barry, I think he was in coma for 3 months. And we attacked by our people, not external people, to stop our work. But we decided, because we promised the people, we will not stop. Then come to be together. Many people say, no, I'm the truth. You are not the truth. And the others say that. Listen, we have all of us. We need to face lots of challenges, common challenges. Come to work together. If we will finish that external challenges, we will be one. And we will love one another. Come to be like this and to do the best. We don't need to be like these people. They enter. It was very hot outside, especially in Florida, during the summer. It's very hot outside. They entered until it will begin to be a better weather. They got out. They found that they lost their shades. We don't need to lose our shade because the shade, what it can do, it can tell you about the direction to where you need to go. This is your shade. Love you all and thank you all for this great meeting and this great groups. And I'm so happy my friend and my colleague, my partner, Chris Meller is here with me and with you all. And be sure that all of us will be together. Thanks.
Thank you, Sheikh Hassan. Thank you to all of our facilitators. Thank you to all of the participants who gave of your authentic selves, your honesty, your fears, your passions, your energy, and your hearts. Another amazing evening with Jam and All Interfaith, as always. And so I would like to wrap up just by saying that we love to have all of you participate in many more things with Jam, and we want to hear your voices. We want you to be involved in planning. If you have ideas for future online roundtables, please, we want to hear them because conversation only gets better the more people join it, the more voices that are heard. So we invite you to join Jam and All, a member. It's only $20 a year. Information is on our website. We invite you to reach out to Abrahamic Reunion, support their work. And I think Chris want to put the email in the chat again. And I also invite you to come back February 26th for our next online Interfaith Roundtable in this winter series, Choosing Peace in the Midst of Chaos, when we will have another wonderful speaker. Because we're all about the conversation. It's what we do. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming and participating and creating magic with each other. Connection from the heart. Thank you.